During this Holy Week, I realized that Christianphobia is quite serious in Scotland. I go to the clinic and see the doctor on Monday, and I said, "So you are off during the Easter holiday, right?" She immediately replied, "Yes, the clinic will be closed during the bank holidays." That's not bank holidays. That's Easter. Easter is Easter. Christmas is Christmas. Why Christian words are considered as F-word and are intentionally censored from the public? It seems that Western Europe is quite hostile against Christianity. Muslims march to churches in France and Italy to disrupt services, while in German schools teach Islamic tradition rather than Christianity. Even street preachers are arrested in Britain, which reminds me the Christian persecution in China, a so-called communist state, who is now actually the largest capitalist and imperialist player in globalization. I know that someone, for example, the Pope, the British government, the Archbishop of Hong Kong Anglican Church, they do not care about the Christian persecution in China because they have made some deal with the Communist Party. But today I want to clarify the reasons behind the Christian persecution in China. It's not because Christianity is too foreign to the Chinese Communist Party. Instead, Christianity is too Chinese, it's too influential in China. There are 39 million Christians in China, including Protestant and Catholic. Even though the Free Self-Patriotic Protestant Church and the Chinese Patriotic Catholic Association are all controlled by the Communist Party, CCP still consider Christianity as a big threat because the Christian moral values are fundamentally conflicting with the official ideology of the bureaucratic capitalism. Capitalism is contrary with the Christian teaching. Jesus teaches us to love God and to love the neighbor as yourself, but unconditional love is against the capitalist values. Capitalism encourages the exploitation of labor and resource, cost minimization, profit maximization, overconsumption, waste, etc. Capitalism is dependent on the greediness and the selfishness of human beings, which are big sins in Christianity. During Lent, we are asked to give up our earthly cares and unnecessary desires. Churches create loving community to share resources for free and ask people to help each other, not for the sake of profit, but for the sake of love, because Jesus Christ teaches us to love one another. No capitalist loves to hear Sunday sermon when the gospel lessons are full of sentences condemning the rich. Deep states who are benefited from the capitalism are very smart. They sidetrack the public to blame the Christianity rather than the capitalism for unfairness, inequality, and injustice. That's exactly what the Chinese communists had done to Confucianism in 20th century China. During 1990 new cultural movement, Confucianism was indicated as the fundamental reasons of Chinese corruption and regression. The leftists argue that Confucianism is feudalist, is conservative, is superstitious, is regressive, is old-fashioned, and is outdated. Gradually, people even deny many meaningful and sensible Confucian teaching. For example, to honor your parents, love your family, follow the rituals to practice love, etc. When the Chinese Communist Party seized the power in 1949, Confucianism was immediately considered as an obstacle to Chinese modernization. When the Cultural Revolution happened from 1966 to 1976, Confucian books were burnt, schools were closed, and scholars were arrested, tortured, humiliated, and killed. I'm not scaring you. My point is very simple. Traditional religious teachings are not always true, but they are not always wrong either. Don't blame a tradition too easily until you have learned it through. There must be some reasons for the continuous existence of a tradition or a religion. Christianity has been practicing in the world for 2,000 years and is still a strong religion in East Asia. If there is anything wrong with the Christian church, just correct it. Reformation is an example of big correction. Although there are some overcorrection, that's another story. But Christianity has nothing to do with the force of capitalism, just as Confucianism has nothing to do with the feudalism and the corruption in modern China. I'm not a socialist, but I want to tell all Western leftists one simple thing. If you are real socialists, don't blame Christianity. Your major enemy is capitalism, the Chinese capitalism, not us. Hating and destroying Christianity from the Western culture brings no social reform. By contrast, once you have unrooted the fundamental spirit from your culture, you will become uncultured.